Warning: the following live video is unscripted, unrehearsed, and presented in a raw format. Inappropriate language, suggestive humor, alcohol and tobacco use may be present at any time. ESV takes a unique and raw approach to the topics we discuss. Often we inject bits of humor in order to lighten the mood. Though we may laugh at times that may seem inappropriate to many professionals and counselors, we are not either. We are real people leading real lives, talking about real situations and experiences. Suicide, addiction, and depression are no laughing matter. If you require more serious assistance, please contact a more appropriately trained group for support and help. We will be happy to help point you in a better direction. None of the advice or experiences given are to be assumed to work for you the same as any one of us. We are not qualified to give out emergency information. Any posted information regarding such an emergency will immediately be directed to an authority for both your safety and ours. We are not a hotline. We are an avenue of discovery and enlightenment.
We've got to work together.
Most people who know me believe I am a very happy person. Most people believe I have all my stuff together and do not usually have any issues. A lot of people truly believe that I am not a suicidal person. This is not a bad belief since I myself have told them so. But just because I'm not a suicidal person doesn't mean the thought has never crossed my mind. As a matter of fact, if it was not for the fact that I know when the moment comes I'm unable to pull the trigger, then I may not be here today to write this. I will refer to that as my block. Prior to writing this, I made another post, very short and sweet, yet displaying signs of dismay, hurt, and depression. I tried to get in contact with some friends who I felt were very close and may be able to help me in this situation. Even though this is the first time I had ever contacted them with this type of issue, most of them were too busy to help or follow through. Now by busy, I mean could not be inconvenienced. The next day, my emotions were worse. Of all my friends, one reached out beyond Facebook. One! And it was one I did not expect by far. This meant a lot. That person took time to do more than post an emoji or comment. Some commented to say they're my friends, some to say suck it up. But only one reached out beyond Facebook, out of over 1,000 friends. He had surprising insight in a relation that I did not even know about. And if it were not for my block, that may have been enough to make the situation the last time you would have ever heard from me. Alas, this is not as much about me as it is the situation. The happiest people you know are often suffering, deeply and often more than you can imagine. It is because their darkness is so deep that they appear so strong on the outside. They have created a shell that keeps things at bay within them. These people seem to help with all your problems. They have great wisdom that can guide you through the most intense life events. They often appear with the most positive outlook and seek nothing more than to make you smile, often because they can not provide their real smile themselves. These people you would envy and want to be like, yet you would never know the pain and hurt they experience on a regular basis. They are constantly cracking jokes and bringing laughter. What could be wrong with these people? Could they have lost all their immediate family? Could they have lost a loved one to manslaughter? Could they have seen their best friends commit suicide or OD? Countless more friends beyond. Have they been through cancer? Could they long for someone to be there when they had a problem because no matter what, they feel utterly alone? Have they dedicated their lives repairing the world only to find they are crumbling from within and there is no one to rebuild them? Do they get up every day for years to an empty house, sit alone for hours on end before going to work, only to come home solo yet again and cry themselves to sleep? Are all their friends constantly finding it too inconvenient to be there and instead ignore and backburner them? Do they give to everyone with no consequences to themselves because they genuinely want to help, yet they never receive anything during a time they are in need? This is a small sample of everything that applied to me, and it is something I deal with every day regardless of what you see on the outer shell. I could create a much longer list that would have your jaws drop in disbelief, but I'm not the only one. I'm willing to bet that you know someone else like this. I'm willing to bet there are a few people hearing this of which are in the same boat as myself. All these people truly want is to matter to someone, but not with a public statement. We have a number we can look at to see how many friends we have on Facebook, and we truly care about them. But we want to know that we are more important enough that someone can see our pain behind our eyes. We want to be worth the time for an extra personal phone call or visit. We do not want to be the last with everyone who have always put first. We do not blame you. And we don't blame you because we truly believe that eventually it will happen. We in our hearts think people are good inside and have the best intentions. What we do not believe is how we are not good enough for others to bother with by taking an extra moment out of their day. We know we make people smile and have large hearts to share love. We do not understand how that is never enough. We especially do not understand how people can take advantage of our kindness and generosity. We also believe that it only takes one person to make up for all the hurt we feel from others. But if that person never comes to light, well, our thoughts will get darker. That's where you can inadvertently push someone to the edge. Pushing someone off is often more damaging than you ever think possible. We always look back and think, if I would have only known. But the truth is, people are often trying to tell you. I have some big things going on. Others have bigger, others smaller, others more, some less. But it doesn't matter. Devastating problems are devastating problems regardless of how severe they seem, and they can attack the most stable minds. The point is, no matter how well you know someone and no matter how secure they seem, take the time to listen to them. Be willing to take a moment away from your game, your meme hunting on Facebook, TV, or whatever is so important, and look, see, and listen to them. Many people's lives are depending on you. Everyone can be a victim of this, as well as the cause. Do not take them for granted. It may be 100 miles, 100 feet, or 100 inches to the edge, but it is only one step to go over, and only one arm to pull someone back. People are not worth being dismissed. They are worth being loved. Some people just need to feel it at times. That post was posted on Facebook a while back. It was a very dark post by somebody who was dealing with a lot of issues at the time. Somebody who gave everything about themselves. That post was written by somebody who always comes off as a happy person and entertaining, seems to have everything together. They do everything they can to help other people, but often feel alone and lonely inside. That post was about me, and I wrote it. Sometimes people, often with the biggest hearts that you know, and the ones that laugh the most, are really hurting inside and need someone there to talk to. Because of our nature of being helpful, it's often very hard to find someone to help us in return. Hi, I'm Keith Litfin, and you are live with ESV, Ear, Shoulder, Voice. Today's topic is Big Heart, Heavy Mind. We have a panelist of people who are going to talk about things that they deal with when they apparently in their life give everything they can, but can never do for them, never have things done for them when they need it most. You always see it on TV, you hear it in the news stories where comedians and generally happy people who spend their life making the world happy, tragedy strikes them. Don't let that happen to people you love. Before we continue this right now, I want to remind you to like, share, follow, and subscribe to Ear, Shoulder, Voice, ESV on Facebook and YouTube. And you can be a part of the show. We encourage you to join and engage us through the live chat. You can even be a guest once you're on the page simply by messaging ESV. And we will have new broadcasts for you every Wednesday and Sunday at 7 p.m. All right, as we continue right now, I'm going to bring in our first shoulder, our first panelist tonight. Please welcome to the stream, Brandon Ponke. Brandon, how you doing?
Good. How you guys doing?
I am fantastic. So, Brandon, you heard the topic. You think this relates to you in any way?
Oh, absolutely. And it's hard to admit, right? But what makes it another angle of it is like, so take for me. So you were saying it was hard sometimes, like when you do reach out and you don't get anybody to give you the attention that you need, or even just a shoulder to vent to or anything like that. My problem was, and has always been, I always feel like a burden. So like people might even reach out and I will push people away, no matter how minuscule or big the issue I'm going through is. So that's just another aspect to it. I'm sure we'll bring up all kinds of different perspectives of it.
Well, absolutely. A lot of times you feel burdened because you don't truly believe they have the same insight as you either, or you think it's going to be turned around. And you're going to end up helping them with their problem as well.
Right.
Also joining us tonight, we have Nikki Colley. Nikki, how you doing?
Good. How are you, Keith and Brandon?
Absolutely fantastic. So, as you heard Brandon talk, do you have any insight to your personal story that you think relates to this topic?
You know, it's like looking in a mirror almost, because I was you, Keith. I was Brandon. Like, I was the one who needed someone to talk to me. I've always been the one who people reached out to. I've always been the one to reach out to people when I saw that they were struggling, publicly on Facebook, or even, in my personal life. I've always reached out to people, and I've had moments. I've had struggles. I'm a survivor of attempted suicide, and I never, ever, ever could find someone who was there to listen to me when I needed someone to listen. It was always, like you said, Keith, it was always too busy. Either they don't answer the phone. I've looked through my Facebook friends list. I've got thousands of friends on Facebook, and I see like all these faces, all these names, and there's never any ears or any voices behind them. They're just kind of there on the list.
Absolutely.
And it brings you to a very dark place when you kind of come to that realization that, you're there for people, but where are your people?
Yeah, it really does a lot of times.
Yeah.
And you still, of course, being the kind of person you are, you hide it inside.
Oh,
You don't want to let
100%.
it go out. And
Yeah.
somebody else who's also very familiar with this situation is, of course, our very own Lenny Hake. Lenny, how you doing tonight?
Hi guys, I'm
Hi,
good.
Lenny. We're glad to see you. As always, you are like the sunshine of our show. We love it.
Yay. Well, I hope you guys can be the sunshine for me today because I'm going through some stuff that I kind of need a shoulder for. I feel like I should be the guest on the show today. So, getting back to what you were talking about before, Keith, the whole point of this show was started because of the post that you wrote, and I thank you for writing it, and I thank God that I read it and that we talked about it and decided to do this because every single thing that you just read, I read it and I felt every bit of it, and I just felt like it was that it could have been me writing it because from a really young age I've had so many things that have occurred in my life that were pretty extreme, and I really didn't have anyone to talk to at the time, and a I'm not a social media type of personality. I'm a very private person, so when I do talk about something, it's hard. So I'm
Um,
happy that we have this platform that we can kind of do this with. So I hope everybody else that's listening can share some of their experiences as we share ours, and I think it's all going to be wonderful in the end.
I think it absolutely will. You're right about what you said with social media too. I think a lot of times it makes it worse because before social media actually existed, you would look out for certain people. Everybody else was never a part of your life. They didn't see what was going on, so you didn't think about them not responding. And I think with social media, when people put stuff out in the world, it hurts a lot more that so many people have seen and didn't respond. And I think that's one of the harder things we go through.
E-
It's not. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. Even when you do go to talk to somebody, and I've had this happen with even my closest friends, and you finally get the nerve to kind of tell them what's going on in your life, and to hopefully they can help you through it, and they'll kind of spin it around and say, "Oh, but well, this happened to me, and that you'll be okay, and then they turn it on to themselves. They're not truly kind of listening and feeling what you're saying, and I think all of us probably have something within us that just you can be empathetic and you can truly feel what somebody else is going through. So you want to help them because you truly feel like you are in it with them.
You're right. That's where this comes from. That's where the basis of everything we're doing right now comes from. We'll still, as the disclaimer said earlier, we're still going to laugh and joke about things periodically in this show. We're going to try to make it as lighthearted as possible. This is one of our deeper shows, one of our deeper topics. So please bear with us during that, but stick around. We want you to engage. We want you to chat. We want you to converse with us during the show. It's very important. If you have a comment, a question, we will look, listen, and answer right live with you. You can also always be a guest. But it's not going to be all that because also tonight we also are going to have a special guest. Kenneth James will be performing a live
Yeah.
song for us halfway through our show, so stick around for that. That should be definitely entertaining. It's an original song written by Kenneth, so it'll be new for everybody to hear, so look forward to that for sure. All right, so here we are, everybody.
You know,
Here we are.
the social media aspect is something I didn't even think about coming into this show, but there's definitely something to it that maybe we didn't even. If you don't think about it, you don't even realize what it does. So social media, the biggest problem with it in society is just the disconnect, right?
Yeah.
So if you not only are you disconnecting from people on an emotional level because everything's just constantly distractions and all that stuff, you just get to a point too where because of those distractions, you don't give the time to anybody else because you just got too much other stuff you can do, right? And just the fact that the disconnect from emotion makes it so even if you did give someone the time, you might not know how to actively listen or actively be able to, give any feedback to people. Like people are missing that aspect of social life now, and that's something that we're gonna have to try and work on as a people.
Well, it's dismissible. I mean, things people say are dismissible now. And that's the hard thing with social media as well, because you post it and you leave. You might come back
Right.
later and see a follow up, but I mean, you post it, you're done. You don't have to engage in the long conversation, but sometimes that's exactly what people are looking for. I mean, sometimes, honestly, when I'm going through those modes, I just want somebody there to laugh and get fucking drunk with me. Let's get crunk, let's do stupid shit. It reminds me that I'm alive.
Hmm.
Now, Nikki, what about you? I mean, what do you think is the aspect that you're always missing in this situation? Because I think all of us have a key. All of us have something, even if we don't know it yet, that would be the one thing that would stop us, that would just put us in a good mood.
Um, honestly, I think it's just knowing that there is somebody out there who can say, I see you're going through something, I feel your pain, and I'm here for you. But when you maybe post on social media or even reach out to people in in your group of people, and you say to them, or you try to say to them that you're going through something, it's so easily, like you said, so easily dismissed, as maybe, some people say, oh, they're just attention seekers, or oh, they're drama, or whatever the case may be. Well, numbers say otherwise, and I've seen a lot lately, friends of friends who are committing suicide, and the chance that they have reached out to people is very high. They've reached out, just people aren't there to listen. And I
Well,
don't even I'm sorry, go ahead.
God, I was going to say, people are there to listen. People, one of the things I had put in the post I had just read is they're there, but they don't interpret. They don't see it because it's a hidden message. It's really a read between the lines thing with most people,
Yeah.
and people miss these little things. I actually did a follow up comment on that post, which is something I've always believed. One of the best things you can ever do is looking a smiling, happy person in the face and asking them what is wrong.
Yeah.
It's very important because they want people to see beyond that, but they never want to display that to the
Right.
world.
It's so true. And I've always said, like, I'm always one to like fake it till I make it. I've always said that. Like, I'll put on that fake smile, even if I'm crumbling within, and I'm collapsing inside of myself. I'll always put that smile on
Right.
because
Go ahead.
I don't know why I do it. I just do it. I want people to think that I'm stronger than maybe I am at the moment.
It's a philosophy that people feel what they see. And the
Yeah.
one thing you don't want to do, it's hard to be one of those people that want to let your problems out to the world, but keep them in a good mood. And
Yeah.
you want them to be happy, so you never do. By the way, before we go further, I just wanted to say hi, Mona. Hi, Cheryl. Glad to have you here. Glad you're joining us. Hi, Josh, and everybody else in the chat. Very happy to have you here. Lenny, I know that you contacted me right before the show, actually, and you're going through some things right now. Lenny, you have got a heart of gold. I know that. You do everything you can for everybody, but even we get hit hard with things at times. Um, Now, I'm going to bring up something before that relates to something Stephanie just said. Stephanie, you're absolutely correct. People need to be smacked in the face to understand. When I was talking to my friend who reached out to me at that point, he said, honestly, I always thought of you. You're a centered person. Everything's going well. I was jealous of your life. You're always happy. Everything's perfect. No fucking idea how it was doing. And truthfully, we're jealous of them half the time. Mona commented, just so you know. Josh. So, Lenny, what is your situation right now? What do you want to talk about as well?
Okay. Well, before my situation, what I wanted to touch a little bit back on what Nikki said, of having people that are wanting to commit suicide. Well, I've had three people in the last 2 years, three of my friends, that reached out to me in a way that I even I didn't know really what to do to help them other than just be there to listen to them, and it still wasn't good enough to keep them here with us. And I when I read your post, Keith, I I felt like you were one of them at the time, and I had to call you and talk to you. So that was so important to be able to do. Um, but anyway, so that I just wanted to say that you don't always you're not always able to help people,
Well,
and I still feel guilty to this day with one of them in particular that had called me and wanted to talk about life, and I said I couldn't because I was driving to Chicago for work, so I couldn't meet up with him. So now I kind of wish that we would have had a little pact and he said 911 or something like that. Just some not just some sort of cue. So if you have a
yeah.
friend out there that you truly know are having these kind of thoughts, we as individuals don't always know when they're truly to that breaking point. So my thing is, if anybody's out there that kind of does know that maybe is watching, what else can you do
More
to
on that,
help?
actually, before we get to your current situation, because what I posted just that Monica had said was also true. Um, that is true that everybody thinks they're a good person.
Hmm.
Everybody does. There's such a majority of people out there that believe they would help anybody in need, but they have a hard time seeing it if you don't directly tell them. That also goes out to
Hmm.
Stephanie, who had mentioned they need to be smacked in the face with that.
Right.
You can talk how you feel for months. Sometimes that's another advent of social media. When it's posted on social media, some people think it's not that important. If it was really important, they wouldn't put it on social media. But sometimes it's a matter of you don't know who to turn to.
Right.
Well, I think it's an important thing to think about too. Is like part of what Monica had mentioned was people don't feel like they know how to talk about it. Like they think, oh, I don't have answers, so I can't reach out. And it's not. It's very important to know it's not about having answers. It's about just kind of being there, just to make sure that people know that you're there, and know that it's okay that you're not going to have all the answers. You're just the shoulder to lean on, somebody to listen to, and again, that's not going to help everything, but it can do a lot to just make people realize you're there for them.
Well, and it does make you feel good when I mean, I think that's why we're all here talking about it, because you do feel good when you are there for someone else and you can help someone else's life be a little bit brighter and a little bit better. But I still have this huge sense of guilt that I didn't do enough. Even when you might have done more than what most people would do, you still kind of carry that, and that part's hard to cope with. So then when I try to talk to someone else about that feeling, they don't always understand, you know?
Hindsight's 2020. I wish it
Right.
was like my regular vision, but it
So,
is, and that's what you do. But the thing is a lot of times we look for things we could have done to help it, even if there is nothing we could have done.
right. So my situation right now, so anybody out there that can either say a little prayer or give me a little help, feeling a little bit better than I'm feeling right now, and I'll probably cry a little bit. But my mom just recently, and I'm feeling kind of guilty on this too, because she had a fever on Thursday, and I had to leave again to Chicago for my job, and I wound up calling an ambulance and having them take her to the hospital. I was worried about COVID more than anything, and so I had to deal with a whole lot to work. Well, I'm just now kind of back and been able to go to the hospital yesterday. Here's another really hard part about the COVID thing. I know you guys talked about this last week, but they only allow one person in the hospital per day. you can't go in the morning and then have the rest of your family going in later on. Well, my mom is in a place right now that she has an abscess on her spine, and
Mm.
it is something that we have to make a decision on, because if she gets surgery, it may a high risk of paralyzing her, and if she just stays on antibiotics because she's now has the bacteria in her blood, the antibiotics aren't working, so they may have to do surgery. Well, tomorrow I have to go in and try to help her make this decision of whether or not she's going to do this, because there's a 20% chance that she might not make it out of that with this sort of situation. And I went in yesterday, and I tried to, as much as possible, FaceTime her friends and do, just so she would be able to talk to them. And she's a little loopy. I mean, love you, Mom, but she's a little cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs sometimes, even without the drugs. I love
That's
her
what
dearly.
mothers are.
But yeah.
We love them for their cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. We do.
Yeah.
Yes. So anyway, so that's what I'm going through right now, and I just feel like I've been calling everybody. I've been trying to like make sure that if anything does happen, that the people that she would love and stuff she'd get to talk to, and they'd get to talk to her. And so yeah, so I'm just feeling a little down.
Now, my question actually, if it was not for this show right now that we're doing, how many people would you tell about that?
Hard, probably. I haven't even, like, my two best friends, one of them may watch this show later. I don't know. I haven't even called her because I know she's going to probably just spin it onto something else. And the other one does know and has been really, really, really supportive in that way. But and again, this person that would spin it is typically just a person that you would just love to be around and is very generous and all of that. But for me, I know exactly what she will do, and it's too hard to actually even talk to her about it.
The last thing
So.
people want to do is burden other people with their problems. One of the things about this entire panel right now that we have is we all are very similar. Everybody looks at us and thinks that we're very happy. You know, our life is full of colors and everything is just fantastic, except for Brandon, who's stuck in his little corner again with no color, no nothing, because you can't put a damn picture on the wall. Tell your girlfriend when she watches this, we're all telling her, get on it.
Yeah, no, you guys all stoked her fire. I'm screwed.
Yeah. So, you guys, another little tidbit on this little story is my mom has taken care of my handicapped sister since my sister was in a car accident at age 15 and in a coma, and now my sister is with me, and she has short-term memory loss. So I don't know if you've ever seen the movie, what is it, the 31st Dates? It's very similar to that. She will forget things 10 minutes after you tell her. Well, she knows my mom is in the hospital, and she wants to go and see her, and so every 10 to 15 minutes I have to explain to her why we can't. And that, again, is so hard because she wants to be there, and the hospitals only allow one person in. They're not going to let me bring her in, and I would have to do that. So she doesn't even get to see my mom. And it's just breaks my heart.
Well, I'm so sorry, Lenny.
No, thanks.
Simona had to, at 22, make a similar decision with that, and she can totally relate with that. Simona, when you get a chance, just respond. I'm just curious, was there anybody that helped you? Was there anybody that reached out to you? Just let us know. We'll get back to you in a minute on that.
And
so
thank
what
you,
about,
Simona.
Yes. So, Nikki, let's go to you for a minute. What is your breaking point? Have you ever broken? Has your smiles and your happiness ever just broken? And has it affected the people around you?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I try not to let it affect my family, my children. I'm good at hiding it. I'm good as a mom, like I'll come to my room or I'll go to the bathroom. But my kids are very in tune with their mom, and they know when I'm upset. And my kids are so good at trying to be my shoulder. But there was a time before I had kids. And when I talk about being a suicide survivor, it was before I had children. It was before Facebook. It was before cell phones. In fact, I remember digging through.
You're old. Before
I
cell
know.
phones?
I know. My son says, "Mom, you were born in the 1900s." But it was before all that, and I remember digging through my change thing in my center console so I could use a payphone, and I couldn't think of anybody to call. I did call my ex brother-in-law, who at the time it was like, I don't know, like 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. He was three sheets to the wind. He was not in any place of a mind to be able to talk me out of what I was about to do. And it was a really dark place for me, a really dark place. Luckily, I had enough sound mind after I took a bunch of pills. And luckily, I had enough sound mind to say to myself, you need to get to the hospital. And it was literally within probably minutes of walking in Bi-County Hospital's doors that I don't remember. I lost 2 days. And I woke up to my family was all surrounding me. I had, tubes down my throat. I had stuff connected to my head because they were trying to find brain activity. And you would have thought like my family would have been sympathetic, or they would have showed some care. Instead, I had my grandma in my ear telling me how stupid I was, how selfish I was. Like, I had all these things like being screamed at me, and I couldn't verbalize because I had tubes down my throat, but I was fully aware of what was,
Well,
what was happening around me.
we don't like hearing that stuff a lot of times, and we don't like when people are saying it, but the truth is we would be yelling it to ourselves if the situation was reversed.
And I get it, but I think that at that moment, it was like the last thing I really needed to hear. I needed like somebody to hug me and hold.
It's the contact.
Yeah, I just needed to
No,
know I
it's
had
not.
somebody there for me. Sorry.
No, it's
Sorry.
good.
I mean, my mom was kicked out of the hospital because she was the same way. Like, at the time I needed my family, they were all so viciously attacking me. Literally, my nurse kicked everybody out of the hospital. Because at one point, I think somebody said to me, the best way to have accomplished what you did was to use a razor. And the nurse was like, okay, that's enough. It's time to
Right.
go.
Wow.
We definitely
Um,
don't want that. A lot of times
Yeah.
people will come in and they do say stuff like that is the wrong thing to say. They think they're being lighthearted, they think they're being funny, they think all that, and they're not. I'm gonna turn over to Brandon for a minute, because Brandon, I've got the impression that you're just happy-go-lucky all the time, sir. So, did you ever have that breaking point?
Yeah, but my brother beat me to it. No, I was always kind of dealing with it ever since like maybe the beginning of high school. I just had this like, I don't think I can do like life. I don't think I can do what I need to do to live up to people's expectations, or even just what I think I need to do to get through life. And it was always just kind of in the back of my head, just like, I could take that out.
I tell
And
you, you
it
put you
was
put a set of drums behind you really quick, and you can live to somebody's expectations at least.
that is true. Babo, I love you. I miss you, man. Yeah, thank you for that. But yeah, no, it was just like, it was something that like I couldn't really understand exactly why. Like, why would everything be going kind of well, and I would still just always be thinking in the back of my head, and I still have this sometimes where I'm just like, just give up, just stop, living, because then you don't have to deal with all the stuff you're dealing with.
So what's your go-to when you start to feel like that? What's your go-to that makes you feel good to get you out of that?
I guess that it really became just making people laugh and making myself into the person that I don't know, brightens someone else's day. And if I can get other people laughing, that high just takes me out of any dark spot I'm at. And
Right.
of course, that drove me to stand-up comedy and just trying to, like, the reason I hate a loud crowded bar is no one can hear me say funny stuff. So
And so, Nikki, what got you out of that? Like where do you when you start feeling icky, we'll call it icky.
Um,
What do you do? Icky.
there's two things that really soothe my soul. For one, it's music. I always
Hmm.
turn to music. It can always bring me out of a dark place. The second is my art. Art is a very good therapy for me.
Hmm.
It does wonders. It's just kind of a way for me to kind of lose myself in what I'm doing artistically, and helps my mind, come away from, because when you're in that place, that heavy, dark place, kind of, it's like that's all your mind is focused on, is that
So
heaviness and that
so
darkness.
art in what way? Like pretty stuff, like pretty birds and little flowers and things like that. Like
Um,
that makes you feel good.
well, I do a lot of painting. Here recently, I've got into painting wine bottles. I repurpose them, turn them into like solar lights, but I do a lot of, I don't know, butterflies. I did a really amazing peacock on one. I just kind of whatever, it just
and
whatever, just
and then what
whatever.
kind of songs? Like, do you have a go-to song that makes you feel good?
Not really. I love a whole wide variety of music.
So
I'll go.
basically, if it's an upbeat song, it makes you feel upbeat.
Not even
No.
necessarily, because I was raised around music as a kid. So sometimes, like, if I'm missing my dad passed away 10 years, I'll kind of pull up, like the old school country music, and it just brings back like those happy childhood memories.
Hmm.
It just, and I'll just, my family knows like when I'm in a mood, because I'll put my earbuds in, turn on my Pandora, and I'm singing. I don't care
Right.
where
You go to a
I am in my house.
totally
What
Yeah.
different place then.
What if your
Yeah.
career is totally music based?
I was just going to ask you that.
Like,
Where do
what
you
if that's
go?
what you're trying to escape from?
So, but
Well,
where do you go? Where do you go?
Movies. Movies.
Movies.
maybe there's
So do you watch?
Comedies. Believe it or not, actually musicals and stuff, like the feel good ones, that is
Hmm.
the one music, because when you see people performing it to me and are happy, but it's got to be a feel good one, not a depressing one. Stuff like
Yeah.
Hairspray, Mamma Mia, stuff like that.
feel like-
They put me in a really good mood. What are you going to say, Brandon? You
I
smart
feel like
ass?
I gotta defend people that. So, all right, I'm sure you all know someone that listens to like heavy rock or like screamo, right?
Yeah.
And you're like, that person's scary. Now, the way that sits with me is, how like a upbeat song puts you in an upbeat mood. That's not how it works for me.
Well, it doesn't put me in an upbeat mood.
For me,
It just makes me see happiness.
I can see that, and sometimes I like an acoustic tune, but to me I've always turned more to the hard rock, to the heavy, to somebody just screaming. There's like an emotion behind it that tells me that this person has felt what I'm feeling right now, so I'm not alone in this. Like when I hear Chester Bennington scream from Linkin Park, like every single one of those screams, I feel that
So
he
it's
felt
kind of a
everything I
release
felt.
of energy.
Well, like
Yeah,
I
it's
was
just,
saying,
Is that what you feel?
it's just like a confirmation that like what I'm
Interesting you
feeling
brought up
isn't just me.
acoustic. Like I was saying, when I watch the movies, I watch them for the visual aspects to actually see people being happy, but I can't listen to those same songs on their own. It's actually
Okay.
visual. But when I'm singing as well, when I'm singing for my job, a lot of times when you hear that harshness in my voice, or you hear something more, that is where I'm more deeply feeling everything.
Mm-hmm.
But you mentioned acoustic, and I'm going to switch right now over to somebody who wrote an original song, is going to perform it live right now
yay.
for us. First, we're going to bring him in here.
This
Kenneth
is new. Yay.
James, how you doing, Kenneth?
Hi, Kenneth.
Hello. I'm doing all right tonight, for sure.
So welcome
sure.
to ESV, Kenneth. We're very happy you're here.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
So what are you going to perform for us tonight?
I'm going to do a new song. It's called Won't Let You Down. I'm in the middle of recording it right now at the studio, and it should be out a little bit later this fall, and I'm pretty excited. It's a cool tune. It sounds good with all the instruments, but you get nothing but guitar today, but it sounds sweet, and I'm pretty excited.
All right, well, we are
Awesome.
too. So, Kenneth, I'm going to turn everything over to you. All right, sound good?
All right, all right.
All right.
I'm walking down streets Everything looked fine to me. I look up there and see a dark cloud. I wonder when it's coming down. I'm coming down, coming down. I walk in a bar for drinks, and this girl's just staring at me. Said, look here, baby, tab is on me. I wanna show you I believe in. I believe, I believe. Well, saw coming round, said, won't break down, no, coming around, said, won't let you down. I'm down here on my knees, and I beg the good Lord, please. Said, give me a sign to show me that you're real. I wanna know what to believe in, what to believe, what to believe. Well, saw coming round, said, won't break down, no, coming around, said, won't let you down. Well, saw coming round, said, won't break down, no, coming around, said, won't let you down, won't let you down, won't let you down, won't let you down, won't let you down. That's all I got.
That was absolutely awesome, Kenneth. That was awesome. So where
Thank you.
are you right now?
I'm actually at my home away from home in the back room at Jamboozy's Sports Bar and Grill.
Good job.
Yeah,
That's really good.
little plug. I also, I work there too, so.
Very helpful. I actually know because I work there too. I just don't want to.
That was a
can't say
good
that
song. Good,
That was
good.
really good.
Thank
Perfect
you.
night to play that song, to have that song on here. That was great.
Nobody has really ever heard that song before, so it's pretty cool that I get to share it, before it's
Yay.
even released. Makes me happy.
Yay. That was
Yeah.
awesome.
So what was your inspiration behind that song?
Well, honestly, I'm pretty I'm an empath, and I always want to please people to the fullest. So when I just feel that I have to give everybody the most that I can to not let them down. In all honesty, I hate disappointing people. I want people to I feel like they need the best from me. And if I can just relay that in the way, I play music and feel that
Well, it cheered me up. That was awesome. So thank you.
Thanks.
That was
Fitting.
great.
It's like you wrote it just for this, and
I
I know
know.
you had already written it prior.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
When we talked to you, we're really glad to have you on here for that. Actually, look forward. You said you're recording that right now.
Yeah, I got my drums. I play all the instruments. I got the drums done. I got a couple guitar tracks and some vocals done.
You didn't see it, but Brandon was out there drumming right behind you. And everything.
Oh, hell yeah, dude. Hey, I'm a natural born drummer. Been doing it since I've been 3. So.
Well, keep it up. We're definitely going to look forward to hearing some more from you. On definitely go to our ESV page. You already know about that.
Yeah.
Post it up there because we love to hear it.
I definitely want to give a shout out to you.
We want to make you some money too.
Yeah, you know, it's more important to get the message across, and I really do. I've enjoyed your show when I've been listening, and you know, I thank you very much, ESV.
So,
you know, ear, shoulder, voice for sure.
So I think this is an inspiration, Keith. I think we should periodically just maybe have some more talent like Kenneth. And if anybody has like an original song or something like that they want to come on, and we just make a show out of it.
Absolutely.
I think that would be kind of fun.
Yeah, we had talked about that. Oh, you weren't there for the first show, actually. We talked about that earlier.
I was gone.
That we want to have people, that includes you, everybody viewing, the entire audience, to come on, perform a song if you'd like to. Sometimes, if it's necessary, if you have a pre-recorded video of yourself, we can do that. We'd much rather have it live. But if you need to do that as well, we'd love to promote it and show it up there just to show your support for the site and what people are going through.
So, Kenneth, when you write songs, like, are all your songs like a story of something that's happened to you or whatever?
Yeah, actually, every song I've ever written is straight up a true story ripped out of a chapter of a book of life for me.
How long does it typically take you to write a song?
I mean, some are basically instantly. Some of them, you get a couple parts and you're like, oh man, I really like this. And then you get like a hook, a melody in your head, and you start singing it, and you're like, oh yeah. And then you're like, oh crap, man, I need another verse, but like I wanted to. Where in my life can like I still relate that to what's going on in a song, you know? So it's
That's cool.
But sometimes they just go, you know.
See, Kenneth in his voice, he had that emotion that I look for, that raspy, like, feel this, because I'm feeling it.
You could tell he felt that. There was definitely emotion involved in that song, 100%.
Yeah.
Definitely keep that up.
New fan.
Hey, thank you, Brandon, man. I appreciate it, man. Hey, if you guys are interested, I do have a single out there right now. It's called End Like Before, and you can find it under Kenneth James, Spotify, iTunes, Apple Music, all over the world. It's even on Napster. So
End Like Before by Kenneth James. Absolutely, we're going to look for that. Matter of fact, I'm going to do it right after this broadcast because I want to hear some more stuff you've done.
I know.
All right. Thank you again, Kenneth, and we will talk to you again soon.
You were wonderful.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it, guys. You're beautiful.
That was really good.
That was Kenneth James. Won't let you down, and you know that is perfect for what we're talking about right now.
Yeah.
And now we'll get a few more comments here. Simona did respond. I wanted to get back to her real quick, and she's the only person that reached out to her more than normal. Actually, was her best friend and her boyfriend at the time that isn't anymore. And that's what makes it really difficult, Mona. You're looking sometimes, the closer people are to you sometimes, the harder it is to accept their help. Mm-hmm. And that, I think, is where when
you don't want to burden them. You feel like you're going to become a burden, right?
Your boyfriend, your best friend, your family. And a lot of times you look at them and you think, they're not going to understand. They know everything about me. They think I'm just whining again. They think I'm sad, blah, blah, blah. But even our family and friends don't know everything about us. Going back to the music, Mona also says that she loves Fleetwood Mac. And Fleetwood Mac, no matter what Stevie Nicks sings, that shit is just on point no matter what your thoughts are. It doesn't matter.
What's your favorite Stevie Nicks song, Simona? What's your favorite one?
All of them?
Steph, I love singing Meatloaf with you. I miss doing that. We are awesome.
No, that's great. Yeah. Music, I'm telling you, is my definite go-to. That and, like, boxing, like hitting something, like working out.
Yeah, well, boxing work. I don't really have... What was that, Nikki?
Sorry, I said working out's been my newest because it releases those good endorphins. Yeah. You know, happy people are happy people when you have those good endorphins. Oh my God,
Mona, you have hit my favorite Fleetwood Stevie Nicks song.
The Seven Wonders. You've asked me to sing that. I'm like,
I have. I asked Lenny to do that before. I love that song so much. I mean, I wasn't even a fan. American Horror Story did it in one of their episodes, and she did it live on there. I'm like, oh, I'm in love. Like, I love that song so much. Edge of 17 is good too, but Seven Wonders. That's the one.
See, I like the one that you and I do, Keith. The Whenever I Call You Friend.
That's a really good one.
Like that's Kenny Loggins and Stevie Nicks, and I love that song.
Dreams is a good one. Rhiannon's a good one.
Yeah.
Those are all really good. So we're going to turn back. I've asked a lot of you your questions and your moments and your breaking points. And this show apparently is about my post. Those that don't know, the post that I announced at the beginning is the birth of ESV. It really was. Mm-hmm. So it started, Lenny, you were there. You talked. We learned. We got it out there. I think you asked me during that, you're like, what is the problem? Like, what is the center? What is your issue? And I couldn't come up with an answer.
Right.
And I still can't. Sometimes it builds up and it boils over so much that you can't pick one thing. Mm-hmm. But I think the hardest thing I've had to deal with is being dismissible. I think when one of my friends I had contacted, I'm like, during the first post, like, I really need someone to talk to you. We had just talked, so it'll be there. We don't have to talk about anything particular. I just want somebody around. And, well, we had a misconnection in the text for a minute, and then he didn't talk to me for a week. Mm. And what got me on that, this was before we even started talking about anything, is that was the dismissible part. How can somebody be dismissible? How can you not respond or put them on hold? And I have a lot of people that do that. And it makes you feel like you're not a good person, and even though you try. And I'm not supposed to be emotional, so hold on a second. Okay, I'm the level-headed, stable one, right?
Dude,
right?
Nope, that's the whole point.
No, it is. It
seriously.
Was. Oh, I was definitely emotional in the post, but I wasn't on video during that time. I don't understand. Does anybody else ever feel with their friends that they're backburnered, that they're dismissible?
Oh, of course.
Yeah, I feel like I said at the beginning of the show, I am the type to push people away if I'm going through something that's probably not a very healthy thing, but it's just my burden complex of like, hey, I'm dealing with something, and I don't want you to deal with it. So
isn't it counterintuitive though?
Yeah, but like I at the same token though, I do know that those same people that reached out and I might have pushed away, that if I got to a point where I wasn't able to handle it on my own, they would be there like immediately. Like I have a best friend who he picked me up one night on a summer night, and just out of nowhere we went down. He took me to Three Blind Mice down in Mount Clemens. We watched a live band. I was just like, this is a great night. And it wasn't until I got home that I realized it was the 1-year anniversary of the suicide of my brother. And my best friend just picked me up out of nowhere, was like, hey, let's go out, and just gave me this amazing night. Never said anything about why we were doing it.
Well, that's a great best friend.
It is. And I have those people there if I ever felt like I couldn't handle something on my own. And that's really good to know.
Have they ever not been there for one of those times?
I don't know.
Not their fault, no issue, just they weren't able to be there.
I don't know if I let them. You know, that's what's hard for me on this topic, is I know it's about like, you know, needing someone and them not being there. For me, I feel like any time that I put it out there that I do need somebody, I've had people there.
Stephanie, you nailed it just now, what you said. Mm-hmm. You are the bottom rung of a ladder of importance to other people's lives, and you may not be, because the biggest thing is people don't see you that way.
Yeah,
right.
They see you as above them. They see you as better, enlightened.
They think you have all your shit together.
Right.
They don't realize what's actually going on inside.
That's true. It looks like I'm doing great when I get the apartment. I got stand-up comedy. It looks like I got all my stuff together. I assure you I do not, but I can see that.
But even though everybody looks at us that way, you're absolutely right that when it comes to response, help, needing somebody at the time, you're at the bottom. And a lot of us have felt that way. I for sure have. I still, thanks to this, what we're doing now, I feel less of it. But that's one of the biggest things I've heard from, is nobody cares. And that's truly what I think. They're like, we care about you because you're a great DJ, you're great music, you're great at computers, you're great at whatever you do. But if you have a problem, we'll get to it later if we can. And sometimes later is too long away.
Yeah. I think somebody kind of hit the nail when they said, I don't know if people don't care. I think they just don't know what to do. You know, they don't know what you want them to do. So then, therefore, they do nothing.
And people
Because they're
might
maybe
be
afraid of doing the wrong thing.
right, exactly. They're afraid of saying the wrong thing or not being enough.
Right.
And then
Andrew, when you've
have
helped
that
somebody
burden.
1,000 times, how can they help you?
Right.
Without parroting back what you say. But just a note to everybody out there, parrot it back to us.
Yeah, just be a friend,
Tell
always.
us the same things we need to
Right.
hear. And even if we're not, even if you're not saying exactly what we said to help fix your problem, be there. And it's not just us, because I can guarantee people who are watching or will watch this video or are responding to us have gone through this. We all many of us try to give everything we can of ourselves to other people. And we put ourselves last. We literally will backburner ourselves. We don't care for you. We don't want anything in return, but truth is, we do.
Right.
We
And it-
want the friendship. We want someone to talk to. We don't want you to fix us, and we don't want you always to come with us when there's a problem, though we will always be there for you to do so.
It's definitely good to hit somebody with the advice that helped you, even if it came from them. Don't feel like, oh, well, he told me that, so I can't tell him that. The number one move in Pokemon is the reverse and hit you with your own attack.
I don't know what that means.
I don't honestly either, but I feel like
I used
everyone
to do-
felt it.
I started God so many years ago. I worked at Taco Bell, and everybody just loved my voice on the drive-thru. I actually had AT&T try to hire me to do voiceovers for their commercials at the time.
I feel it with the intro to this show.
Yeah.
I know. So next week, or on Sunday, is that the TV topics? You guys are not even going to know what mine are. You're so young.
Yeah, when we come back, just so you know, next week we
Casablanca.
don't have much
No, I'm
time left in this show. Next week, that's going to be Sunday on the 20th, live at 7, the TV show Effect. What that's going to be all about the different TV shows you saw, whether now as a kid, that impacted and just influenced your life so much. Maybe you constantly quote the show. I'm quoting Kelly Bundy all the time from Married with Children.
Yeah, or maybe it's just a certain time of your life that whenever
It
that
helps
movie
you through
comes
it.
on, you remember things that happened then.
Yeah.
You know,
It's
fun.
all about those great TV shows. We're covering you up, Brandon, because you're not part of that show.
I feel it.
So we just put
Yeah.
it over you. Just
Can you make that thing bigger?
Well, I don't want to cut Nikki off.
It's to cover the walls.
I'm
not me.
kidding.
We put something
cover
on
We're
your
trying
walls.
to
There
get
you
you.
go.
Yes,
Yeah.
we're trying to put something up there. Too funny.
Yeah, that'll be when we come back. I hope people know out there that anytime they have an issue or something, don't be afraid to reach out. If you have to do it in a subtle way, my initial post was literally, are you ever going to learn that people aren't going to change, things aren't going to get different, and nice guys will always finish last? Or that's not true that nice guys finish last because they don't even complete the race. It was a very simple post, and I had one person who reached out from that. Putting something like that's good, but if you don't get the response, I'm going to take my own fault, and it was my mistake of not trying to reach out more. But how do you feel when you reach out to somebody and they don't help? How many times does it take till you stop reaching out? I have a lot of friends through Facebook and a lot more even outside of Facebook that I could have reached out to. But you don't want to pull out a list of friends. So at what point do you stop asking?
You know, I'm glad you asked that, Keith, because I literally, I do have, I have Facebook friends. I have friends outside of the world. I stopped reaching out when I stopped getting a response. When I kept continually feeling like I was being dismissed over and over and over again, it just got to a point where, at first it felt like, I was a burden. And then it started to feel like I was unimportant or I didn't matter because it just wasn't, it didn't matter enough to them to want to stay on the phone with me or to, hold a conversation with me. It doesn't even always have to be about what I'm going through because you don't even always know what has you down. You just know you're feeling something and you need someone to be there to talk to you, to make you laugh, to something, to make you feel like you matter. And when I stopped getting, anything is when I just stopped. I started putting it into words. I started writing a lot. Was initially, how I would get it off my chest to keep
Or
me
you
from
went to
going
your
through.
art. You went
Yeah,
to your
to my
art or
art.
your music, right?
Exactly. But initially it was writing because I didn't feel like I could verbalize it to anybody, but I needed to get it out there because I didn't want to carry it with me, but I needed to get it off my chest just so it didn't weigh me down anymore. And I've just learned other ways to cope.
Well, one thing to our viewers and people out there who are dealing with it, if somebody contacts you and you don't have time to deal with them, send them a message. Send them, hey, we'll talk later. I'm really busy. And remember to follow up with that. It may
Yeah.
seem like something you just forgot or you just didn't care about. But truthfully, what you're damaging, especially these kind people with these big hearts, which is the basis of this show right now, you're damaging them. And it's sometimes irreversible. And you never want to be responsible for that one. One of the things I've dealt with, people will call and say, I'm on my way to your house, we're going to hang out. And they don't end up showing up at all. Now, they probably had something come up, and they're afraid to say, I'm not going to make it. But people in need would rather hear that than imagine in their head that they just don't matter to you. That's what will really push them over the edge sometimes. When you don't respond with a message to say, hey, I'm here, I care, I'm busy, that can push people over the edge. Always remember that a lot of people who are getting out and reaching out for you, especially if they say, hey, I just want to hang out with somebody, or I just need to talk to somebody about anything, let's just get drunk, which is a very common one that people do. They'll send them, hey, let's get drunk tonight. They're saying it funny, and a lot of times there's something much bigger in their head going on, and that's why they're trying to escape it. I will say, do not ever turn to alcohol to handle your depression. Alcohol is a depressant. I'm not telling people not to drink, but some people get really confused why they're always depressed all the time and they're drinking all the time. It is called a depressant for a reason. It brings out the worst. It'll make you feel better for a period, and then it's going to make you feel a lot worse. And then there's no reasoning with you. So always be cautious of your intake of alcohol when doing that. If everything's going great in your life, you have no problems, get fucking crunked and do stupid shit, catch it on video, post it for us to see. We want to see all that. We're halfway a Jackass show. We will be if people keep doing that. But never dismiss them. Never forget about them. And never tell them they are not important. This has actually been an enlightening show. This has been good. There was a little less humor in this one than typical, but that's what you're going to get with ESV. We are raw, off the cuff, unscripted, unrehearsed. I want to say thank you to everybody. I'm going to bring Kenneth back into us for a minute. Kenneth.
Ahoy, hoy.
Hi.
So glad again to have you on this show. That was absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, you were awesome.
Hey, I appreciate the shit out of it. I don't even know if I could say that. I'm sorry, but I appreciate it.
I loved the song. I absolutely loved the song. It was very, very
appropriate,
on point with the topic. It really was.
Yeah,
that's cool, man. That makes me feel good for sure.
And kudos to you for putting yourself out there like that, Kenneth.
Oh,
yeah.
Thanks.
I already
Yeah,
followed you
pretty
on
well.
Spotify. It's already done. It's a
I
done
did
deal.
too, yeah.
Oh, thanks, guys. I appreciate that.
I didn't have time. I was busy doing a show. My bad.
Yeah, doing all the computer stuff and screens. Good job,
I know a lot of
Keith.
people watch this show and they see me looking everywhere. I've kind of got everybody going on at the same time on this, so I'm actually controlling. I don't have somebody else controlling it.
All right, we'll give you a
But that was
pass.
good. I don't need a
Production,
pass for you,
production
Brandon.
at
It
its
means nothing.
finest.
Right.
So Brandon, we're gonna put you on the spot soon and make you do a little stand up. Well, a sit down.
Yeah, we're going to have you do stand up for us. One of those shows you're not on, we'll do a stand up routine for you.
Exactly.
To show our-
Bring it. Bring it.
Once again, do not forget to like, follow, share, and subscribe to Ear Shoulder Voice on Facebook and YouTube. You can always be a part of the show. Just join and engage us through live chat. We'll respond to everything we can live with you. We'll ask you questions. You can also, just by messaging ESV, you can be a guest on this show. We can bring you to be one of our panel members, just as we did Kenneth performing a song. You could just be somebody with a topic. Message us live. We'll send you the link to be a guest live, even on that show. And we have new shows broadcast every Wednesday and every Sunday at 7 p.m. Next week, as we said, is going to be the TV Show Effect, September 20th, 2020, live at 7 p.m. Be there for that. Should be a great time. I am Keith Litford for ESV. And this is, Linny, I thought you were going to say something. You didn't.
No, I
You're
was just
quiet.
looking and admiring you.
You're supposed to give the outro. Okay, well, I'll do it myself then.
You
Lenny,
can.
thanks for being here tonight. It's been absolutely fantastic. You still are a rainbow for us. I see you're going through a lot of hard times right now. Keep your head up. Keep happy.
Yeah.
Keep your friends close. Everything will work out. You cannot change the outcome of certain events, but you can make sure you're surrounded by people that love you and care about you at all times, and we will always be here for you, Lenny.
Thank you, guys. It
You're very
helps.
welcome.
Helps a lot.
Nikki, absolutely amazing. I kind of cut her off there. I thought there was another, but that's okay.
You know, you
Yeah.
feel like you can finally talk to people and they just cut you out of the show. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, that's how they feel. That's how I do it. I'm like, I'm done with you. We're done. We heard everything we had to hear.
Right.
Come on, Lenny. Nikki, absolutely fantastic. You definitely dealt with some issues in your past as well. I'm glad you made it through because we are here to help everybody else. You've been a big part of that so far.
Thanks, Keith. Thanks, you guys.
You're very welcome. Brandon, get something on those damn walls.
We'll see. Dude, Kenneth James, thank you so much for being involved in this. This was
thank you.
an awesome part of this show, and that was great. Thank you so much.
I appreciate it, man. Pounds it.
All day.
Yeah.
Found it. All right, absolutely. Brandon, thank you for being here again, and we will see you again sometime very soon. I know you won't be here on Sunday, but maybe you'll be back for next Wednesday. Oh, before we go, we're going to have somebody who wants to say one thing before we leave. I'm going to bring everybody back for 1 second because we have one person who wants to add here.
I'm back.
Karen.
Oh my God,
Karen,
I'm here. What do you know?
Karen,
Hi,
how you
Karen.
doing
Karen.
tonight? Release the
Hi.
Karen.
Guys, release the Karen.
Did you have something you wanted to add before we close out the show tonight?
I just wanted to say hello, and I feel for everybody with big hearts and heavy minds.
Thank
Well,
you.
thank you very much because it's really important, and sometimes that's all we need to hear. We need to hear that somebody is out there.
Give you a big old verbal hug.
He's going to cut you off real quick just so you know that it's going to be like, whew, gone.
No, I'm going to do it to Lenny. Watch. Just kidding, Lenny.
Tune in next week to see the drama.
Exactly. All right. Again, thank you, everybody. Kenneth James, great having you tonight.
You were
We will
awesome.
see you all again soon. Sunday, the TV show Effect. You all have a fantastic, fantastic evening.
Thanks.
Well,
Okay,
that
so
fucking
part
was
of that
hard.
music at the end, you know, that sounds like a Halloween kind of scary movie.
Then we're in the right time frame.
Dude, it's the most upbeat song I've ever heard. You're like, murder.
I thought it was
And
fine.
yeah, as soon as it came on, I was like, "Oh, that's like scary." That could be like a really
Our
bad
happy
horror
ending song
flick.
freaks you out.
A little bit, just a
That's,
little bit.
Yeah, we got to dive into that. at
We
some
need it.
point.
We need it to be a little bit cheerier,
I would like it gets
Brandon's
cheerier
walls, like Brandon's walls.
than that. My walls are the only thing.
Let me
Less
guess, Brandon's
cheery than
walls
that
put you
song.
in a good mood, but happy music and stuff just makes
Right.
you
Well,
happy
it puts me in a
somebody.
good mood, thinking maybe I could talk to your girlfriend and get it decorated.
Dude, I hear our ending song. I picture butterflies in a meadow.
That's what I
picture-
thought.
Oh yeah,
You
Everybody
picture
here.
butterflies, Lenny pictures tearing the wings off of them.
Yeah, she's like Michael Myers.
Michael Myers. It is. It's like the Halloween song.
It's not like the Halloween song. You know what? Next week I'm going to play the Halloween song just to do it. That's going to be our ending music.
Yeah.
So you can hear the creepy difference.
I think we're still live.
Hopefully.
Are we still live?
Yes, we're supposed to be, I think.
Are we?
Yeah. What
So
does
this
it
is
say in the
weird on my
corner?
phone.
It says
is it
live.
worse on my phone or better on my phone?
It seems fine on your phone.
Yeah, it seems good.
Doesn't seem that bad on my phone.
You look a little bit orange, like Halloween. Your lighting behind you.
You're just
Well,
in the
yeah.
you're just in an October mood. Lenny.
Yeah,
That's all there
someone's
is
like,
to
I
it.
want to
Dark-
dress up for Halloween. How can I get there?
Speaking of Halloween,
Yes.
Keith, Are you gonna
Lenny.
Are you gonna be having? Will Kit Kat be having the big Halloween show thing? The big.
I
Where you
have
get
no
all-
idea right
Yeah,
now.
it's probably up in the air right now, huh?
Yeah, it still is. I don't know.
Yeah.
I just started getting my costume ready like a month ago.
I
And I'm
remember
like,
a long
I
time
don't know
ago
what's going on.
when I asked you if you were going to be doing that, and you were in a bad place then, and said, "No, I'm not dressing up this year." Do you
And I did.
remember?
It was last minute, and it might happen. This isn't necessarily the bad place. It's just I don't know if we're going to have it or not.
Right. It's
Yeah.
more the world than
Right.
what's
Yeah.
I know my
All
kids told me
We could-
none of them want to trick or treat this year. I'm like, what?
I say
Oh.
for Halloween we all dress up as something.
Oh, I'm doing
Well,
it.
we
I
just
want
might.
to shoot candy at kids from my car.
Do
Yeah.
what?
What?
I
Yeah,
want to
that's-
shoot candy at kids from my car with a slingshot.
I've tried throwing candy at kids from my car, and I keep getting pulled over.
You're supposed to do that shit
Oh,
on
Cops are
Halloween.
always involved. They're like, yeah, you're handing that kid some candy.
I saw somebody on Facebook. He put like this 6-foot tube on his railing, like of his porch, and it's a candy chute, so that he can just drop the candy down the chute to the kids. They don't have to come up on his porch.
Oh, that's a fantastic idea.
Yeah,
Matt
I love it.
loves that shit.
They probably
Yeah.
the candy smells like hand sanitizer.
Lysol.
No,
Lysol.
instead of candy, give them little bottles of hand sanitizer.
Oh,
Oh, God.
That's not a bad idea.
dude, I didn't get any Reese's. I got 19 gallons of hand sanitizer.
And it
Hey,
all
it
smells
would
like
help.
tequila.
Am I? Oh, jeez.